I'm chilling, baby. Chilling.
That's what's up.
Sanders announced for governor this morning, man. I watched that like, the hell? How you gonna separate yourself from Trump? And then, I mean, if I'm her opponent in the Republican primary, I'm gonna eat her ass alive.
I feel the story that Mundell, you mentioned earlier. Let's talk about Sarah Huckabee Sanders, because she's a former press secretary for Donald Trump, and she imagines that she's going to be able to run for the governor seat in Arkansas. Now, keep in mind, previous governor was her father, Mike Huckabee. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, one of the previous governors. Obviously, you also throw in our boy, your boy, Bill Clinton, as a former governor of Arkansas. But in this case, Sarah Huckabee Sanders has a huge problem ahead of her because she is known to be a liar. Take a listen to this clip of an exchange between Huckabee Sanders and a White House correspondent from Fox News as they discuss one of the biggest lies that's going to hunt her campaign for governor.
Sarah, you said from the podium yesterday that Director Comey had lost the confidence of the rank and file of the FBI. On Capitol Hill today, the acting director of the FBI, Andrew McCabe, directly contradicted that. What led you in the White House to believe that he had lost the confidence of the rank and file of the FBI when the acting director says it's exactly the opposite?
Well, I can speak to my own personal experience. I've heard from countless members of the FBI that are grateful and thankful for the president's decision. And I think that, we may have to agree to disagree. I'm sure that there are some people that are disappointed, but I've certainly heard from a large number of individuals, and that's just myself. And I don't even know that many people in the FBI.
Just to follow up on the FBI thing.
Okay.
And I'm not trying to be overly combative here, but you said now today, and I think you said again yesterday, that you personally have talked to countless FBI officials, employees, since this happened.
Correct.
I mean, really? Like,
really?
So are we talking
between like email, text messages? Absolutely,
50,
yes.
60, 70?
Look, we're not going to get into a numbers game. I mean, I have heard from a large number of individuals that work at the FBI that said that they're very happy with the president's decision. I mean, I don't know what else I can.
Now, let's be sure.
Listen, I can watch that all day. Like, literally, for me, that is chicken noodle soup on a cold winter day. That is so beautiful to my soul. Bro, this is white supremacy, and I'm so glad the correspondent, John Roberts, did what he was supposed to do and asked the question. But the guy from the New York Times, he was like, "Really? This is how absurd this is. Like, you're lying. Nobody from the FBI is calling you. They know you're lying." And he's like, "Really? Like, you really gonna stand up here and do this? Like that's how stupid this is." Like,
she tried it
on every level.
But look, the height of whiteness, though. But watch the height of whiteness come out of her. She's like, I mean, I'm not gonna get into the numbers game. Well, how are you gonna say a ton? How are you gonna say a ton?
Right. You said you fixed your mouth to say that. Now you can't keep up with what you said.
Right.
She's gonna win. She's gonna win.
You think she's gonna win?
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
You don't think she's gonna win?
I mean, here's
absolutely
why. Well, here's why I say that, man. Like, I don't want her to win, and I think anybody who's competent, who can run a competent campaign in a Republican primary against her, should be able to, right? Like, let me just say that, right? But that woman is tailor-made to BS America and to BS citizens. She is the commander in chief at BS, and there won't be any you can't have a competent conversation with her about facts unless you have a certain type of debate moderator, unless you have a certain type of, right? Like, because no matter what happens, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, were you a part of a white supremacist leading organization, and did you support white supremacist policies? And if she gets asked that question, and she's going to be like, no, and spin it. And then unless you have the right kind of moderator or the right kind of money that can push back against narratives that she creates, she's going to be dangerous, man. Like, I can watch it all day, but the problem is we just saw 71 million people, 81
vote for Donald Trump. Yeah.
Vote for Donald Trump.
Yep. Right. But we saw 84 million vote against Donald Trump. We got to remember that. And then let me tell you, here's the thing. That's Arkansas. Some of them was, so the 71 million weren't Arkansas either.
Nah, I'm just saying that he went Arkansas.
So, he won Arkansas.
I'm sure he did. But let's see by what margin.
He won Arkansas, but Huckabee is not Donald Trump.
And
also,
that's true.
And then we should also consider what's going to be happening in 2022. Just like the energy around those gubernatorial elections, all of the gubernatorial elections are going to be up in the South in 2022. Are going to be completely different. It's going to be similar to the energy around this year's election. So if you consider the efforts of organizations and what happened this year, you also have to know that, Stacey Abrams didn't win in 2016, but I guarantee the likelihood of her losing in 2022 is a lot lower than it was in 2016.
Yeah. Oh no, that's
the same.
But she comes from Sarah Huckabee comes from a background, I believe, with her. If I'm not mistaken, her father being the governor in Arkansas.
Yeah, but he's not a popular character in Arkansas. I went to law school in Arkansas. There's a serious movement of folk. I literally just got a person elected to judge in Arkansas who was not even old enough to be judge until election day, right before election day, she was old enough. You have to be a certain age and a certain amount of years as a lawyer. We going against the establishment. This sister is now a judge in Arkansas. This sister is 28 years old, I think.
Wow.
So I think she's one of the youngest judges, maybe 30. She's like one of the youngest judges in not only in Arkansas, but in the country. And we did that going against the establishment. And I'm just telling you, there's a different, what we think of Arkansas is not Sarah.
Well, hell, what we thought about Georgia. Well, because some people would have made the same mistake about Georgia. Don't get me wrong, the work that was done in Georgia is totally different than the work that was done in Arkansas. But at the same time, right. I mean, the work speaks for itself. Like these states can be changed, right? But I want to play one more clip with Sarah Huckabee Sanders and Marcus. I want to nominate this woman from Australia to moderate whatever debate, or we can get a black sister like Yamiche to moderate it. But somebody's got to be able to hold somebody has to be able to hold these people accountable. Take a look at this clip where Sarah Huckabee Sanders was held accountable probably for the first time in her damn life. Take a look.
And that is a factor in the severity of the fires, along with land management. The president replied, "It'll start getting cooler." The secretary replied, "I wish science agreed with you." The president then replied, "I don't think science knows, actually." Was that a display of lying, ignorance, or insanity?
Following that, I'm not in the administration, so I can't speak to what next steps they will take.
You're not addressing my point, which is that he said that he thinks science doesn't know that the planet is warming. The Washington Post fact-check unit has found that during his presidency so far, Donald Trump has made false or misleading claims to the American people more than 20,000 times.
Well, like I said, I don't think the media has a lot of credibility when it comes to calling out.
So to believe you, somebody watching this interview has to believe that every former senior member of the Trump administration who's left and spoken of his unfitness to lead has an axe to grind, that every former senior Republican who's spoken out, from Colin Powell to the late John McCain, has an axe to grind, and then all of these lifelong Republicans are in cahoots with the Democrats, and they're all also tied up in a conspiracy with the mainstream media, and it's the mainstream media that's peddling lie after lie, not Donald Trump. That's what you're asking people to believe.
Well, I'm asking people to believe the hundreds of other Republican leaders across this country who know and defend this president and talk about all of the good things that he has done for this country, myself included. I worked alongside the president for 2.5 years. I don't have to listen to the opinion of somebody like Colin Powell, who hasn't spent time with the president, who frankly doesn't have that great of a record in his own experience and the things that they did during the Bush administration.
Your book makes it clear that you're heavily guided by your Christian faith and family values. How do you reconcile that with having been the spokesperson for a president who has misled the American people on everything from coronavirus to climate change, who boasts about grabbing women on the pussy, who paid hush money to a porn star to keep her quiet about their alleged relationship, and who's maligned the men and women of America's armed forces?
Marcus, what just happened?
Some of those things are just patently false, but I can tell you from my experience,
I want it. Hey, yo, listen. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is a cast iron pan, and that white woman was a dishwasher. And she just got and that English lady just turned her dishwasher on high. and we watched slowly as that lady got crusty and rusty as hell.
What? Oh my God!
Listen, Marcus.
Listen, that was
beautiful, right?
That was.
She read her for filth, and I lived for that.
She said, man, listen. Hallelujah to Australian reporters. She was all. She said when she said all, it said, so you want us to believe in order to believe you, we got to think everybody's lying. That's what you want me to do. Yo, yeah. I just love this is the importance of free media right here. I mean,
yes, sir.
That was beautiful. That's free press good. Right there. Here's what I will say. Sarah Huckabee was not banking on that interview when she took that. It's so funny how white people... She
didn't get the interview question.
Hey, Wendell, you got to say, she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. You got to...
So
that
for
interview,
me...
Mondale, that interview immediately made me agree with you. She's gonna lose.
Before you knew what he was gonna say.
Like, hey, that interview made me just immediately switch up my whole thought. She's gonna lose. She's gonna lose. She's about to lose.
Now, is it okay for me? Like, I might be out of pocket here. Y'all tell me if I am. But why does? I mean, she could wear her eyebrows however she wants to wear them.
Let me say,
but why she remind me of Bert and Ernie with them eyebrows, bro? I'm just she look like...
It's not even the brows for me. It's all the lying and all that she did, how she just really sat up there and lied for this president all of this time.
Yeah, and think she can.
It's reading through her skin. When you have a nasty soul, when you are just, it literally eats you from the inside out. And look at her. This is a 38-year-old woman. She's 38
60.
years old. And it looks like
she's 38?
She's 38 years old. 38.
She's younger than all of us.
And when she started with Trump, a few years ago, she was what, 30, 30,
12.
Yeah, she was younger, and we didn't get that vibe from her. She was just miserable. I can't say she was miserable because she literally would get up there every day.
She thrived in that lying position. She loved those lies.
She was there every day lying, and people would call her out so much so that she would definitely be in the front line of campaigning the fake news because when they would call her out for every lie, they had receipts, just as this Australian woman took it way back. She took it way back from the beginning to her
grabbing them by the
it was good. I lived for it, and but now I do agree with Mondale as well, Marcus. I don't.
But here's the big question. Here's the big question: how much will the Trump administration officials be rehabilitated? Because we saw with honestly, she threw some low-key shade against Colin Powell, but she wasn't wrong. Now, she's not in a position to actually speak out about people doing things wrong. But we have rehabilitated. Now, let me take the we out because none of us did it. But there have been a lot of Democrats who rehabilitated George Bush, right? And the Bush administration. And let's be real. Now, Donald Trump has killed almost 400,000 Americans due to COVID-19, but George W. Bush bombed 1 million Iraqis, right? And destabilized the region. So my question for the panel is, how many Donald Trump officials do you think we're going to rehabilitate? Even if we don't rehabilitate Donald Trump himself, I think our system gives a lot of forgiveness to people who participate in white supremacy.
As we're going to see them doing right now. A lot of people like Mitch McConnell is back to denouncing Trump. All these other people are back to denouncing Donald Trump, and as if they never were a part of his administration. And a lot of the things that they did wrong with the administration, the white supremacy that was led to the forefront,
to the steps.
This is terrible because what's going to happen is a lot of these Democrats are going to go hand in hand. Like the message that's being pushed for us to, work together in unity. But I feel like we got to definitely hold them accountable and still look at these people side-eyed for what they've done and their place in a lot of this mess. Sarah Huckabee, we will always remember you for being the liar. Like literally the liar. Everything that came out. Who is going to believe anything you say? No one. This is how we're going to remember you.
What was the guy's name? The first, was it Sean Spicer or was it? Sean Spicer was the first press secretary.
We forgot about him. That man was a wreck.
They rehabilitated him. He went on Dancing with the Stars.
Didn't he write a book?
he got some type of position at Harvard, like a guest lecturer.
Yes.
So they rolled out the red carpet for him. So I mean, honestly, while Sarah Huckabee Sanders should get dragged, the fact is, Mondale, and I want your thoughts on it. Like, the fact is we have a habit of rehabilitating white supremacists, and it's possible. Like, I think she'll lose, but I do think it's possible that the system would try to rehabilitate her if we let them. What do you think?
I think the system, I mean, presidents usually get a pass, and like the rehabilitation is easier for presidents than it is for their administration. I don't really think Spicer has been
fully rehabilitated. Okay.
I mean, because if you think about what happens to press secretaries after their time in the office, they usually become super rich or like some kind of consultants for comms, and that's not what he is. I mean, they try to give him a show on HGTV or something like that, and it didn't work out. I mean, like the idea that these people have been rehabilitated, I think fair. that's that. And I also want to say that, like, people that love history, I mean, I never. People can say what they want to about Trump worse than Bush, or Bush, we wish we had Bush back. I don't. Like, literally.
Not at all.
The Middle East is stable because of the Bush administration, and we can't. I mean, and Barack Obama's legacy over there is horrible too. So I mean, I think there will be people that forget who he was, but there are those of us that knows, and I think so. Academia is not a place to tell if someone is, redeemed or not. Academia is a place for open conversation, even with those that you disagree with. So I think Harvard give him a position there is.
I can rock with that.
I got a question. Mondale, I got a question for you. How come these guys land these consulting positions and are not effective? Right? How come they keep landing these consulting positions and they're not effective, and they don't win races, and they don't or they don't do good for the country? How come they keep getting rehired? Maybe we can go into that for a second, because I think this is an important addition to why Sarah Huckabee Sanders is still even relevant.
I mean, nepotism is it. I think this is all about what her daddy did, what role her daddy played, and now her legacy too. Like, if you think about who her dad was in for the Republican Party and some of the extremists, he was a leading conspiracy theories that ran for president before Donald Trump, right? This is who he was as a candidate. That's right. I mean, don't forget how outlandish and some of the stuff he said about Black Lives Matter, about activists, about people that were not white Christian folk, right? So, and I mean, like, her dad had a wonderful relationship with Pat Robertson, who is a Christian terrorist, right? So, white Christian terrorist. So, and we just got to say that.
Agreed.
And I think Marcus, the reason these people keep getting higher, and these people, I'm talking about these losing consultants or these press secretaries becoming consultants, is because people tell lies about what works in campaigns. White people want to believe that. White people still want to believe that the messaging on TV is the most important part of a campaign. And who knows better how to sell something on TV than a lying press secretary? So the problem is, though, they're ineffective, and this cycle showed how ineffective they are. I mean, if you look at the campaigns that were won on bootstrap campaigns that won elections without massive TV budgets, it's just raining on the idea of what an election means. I mean, in South Carolina, we raised over $100 million for the candidate we support. Unfortunately, majority of his budget, I'm talking about Jamie Harrison, a candidate that I love. Unfortunately, majority of his budget got spent with white consultants on TV. Media consultants. You can't win an election that way, not regardless how much money you got. So I'm just saying, I think these consultants are continuing to be hired because of nepotism and the lack of understanding of how to move voters, even though every report tells us after every election cycle.
That's good. That's good. And if anybody, just for a shameless plug here, if anybody knows how to move voters and can contribute to this conversation, it'd be the two of you, Marcus, with your work, and Mondale with your work.